Hello everybody, my name is Lynn, or Cyber, or Poisoned, or whatever, I don't care. Anyway, you read the title, you know what we're here for. Today, I'm gonna talk about the first 2 episodes of Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Because they dropped today, when I'm recording this. I don't know when I'm gonna post this, so it might take a little bit to edit because I'm an idiot, and it takes a long time. Anyway, okay, so, where do I start? Episode 1, ow. I hit my hand on my desk. Episode 1 was kind of a nothing burger. And that's not to say that I didn't still enjoy it. We just didn't get a lot of plot, per se. Okay. Sorry, I had to gather my thoughts for a moment. Episode 1 is called New Penches. And basically, it's the aftermath, I guess, a month after the finale. Because Charlie specifically says, saw my friend die in front of me a month ago. So, I guess it's been a month. And, you know, it's got all of the sinners flooding into the hotel. We get to see a lot of the new hotel, which is really nice because it looks really cool. And you can see all the apple motifs everywhere from Lucifer. It's really funny. The songs in it were okay. I think I liked the V's song more than I liked Hazbin Guarantee. But I still liked Hazbin Guarantee. I feel like when you do a show that has at least 2 songs in every episode, you're gonna have some that aren't complete bangers. And that's okay. You know, you can't win them all. They can't all be bangers. And I should acknowledge, normally when I make content like this, I show my live reactions to the content, and believe me, I would love to. I'd love to show you reactions like this. Pussy. And these. The egg! Ew! Hello? Hello? What? Yes! Yes! Ah! Holy peak! But I do not want to get struck down by the Prime Video overlords for copyright, so we'll have to see about that. For now, I'm just going to discuss my thoughts here, and maybe eventually I'll post them, because I did record them. I just don't want to get in... I just don't want to get in trouble. Because I just don't want to deal with that, okay? I'm a bit lazy. I'll be for real with you. Anyway. In this episode, we see a lot of new sinner designs. I'm sure most of them are background characters that we'll, like, never see again, which is a little bit sad, because some of them were kind of cool. But we did see Baxter for the first time, and that was really nice. Oh god, and Charlie. Oh, sweet Charlie. Still very much coping with Pench's death, obviously. Calls Baxter Penchus, like, 5 times, and it's... Ooh... Yikes. But it's really, because we're watching her cope with that grief in real time, and she's being like, Baxter, sorry. And it's like a whole thing. He seems kind of pissed about it too. My guess is him and Penchus did not get along, considering Baxter called Penchus pompous, I believe. We're gonna have Baxter now, so he's our new character in the hotel this season. We might get more, but I'm giving you what I've got, man, and that's episode 1. Episode 1 is entirely focused in hell, so we see a lot of the hotel, and then a lot of V Tower, actually. There's a whole portion in Hazbin Guarantee about the V's, like they have their own verse and everything. I'm sure you've already listened to it. I did not beforehand. I've been trying to avoid pretty much any and all spoilers, because I like to go into these things as blind as I possibly can, because it's so fun. Anyway, but there's literally a whole section showing how basically the V's just take people in and chew them up and throw them out like they're nothing. And it's so fascinating to watch, because it's... The problem is, when you try to do comedy like this, today's day and age, it's not just like, oh, haha, comedy escape. It's comedy that's mimicking real life, you know? And that's scary. Because the idea of obviously it's dramatized. You know, this is all dramatized and sped up for effect and, you know, all of that. But this is something that happens. People have their trust for big brands taken advantage of, and they become this sensation for a while until they're not interesting anymore. And then they become nothing. And I think that I'm really excited to see more of the Vs, okay? All this to say, I am so excited to see more of the Vs because I want to watch them develop as villains because we saw them in season 1. Yeah, we know they're the bad guys, but we never really watched them. I mean, I guess we saw Valentino a little bit, but I want to watch this play out. Especially because we know, and it has been confirmed in the confirmed in the episode, that Vox was a cult leader in his life. Not that he likes to call it a cult; he likes to call it a movement, but it was a cult. And you know, he gets off on this feeling of being powerful and feeling like a god, and just this idea of trying to watch them strive to become more powerful. Because in their song, what's it called? Trust Us? I don't remember. That's my bad, because I literally watched it like 40 minutes ago. Anyway, they literally, like, Vox says that they're the top overlords in hell, and, like, the most powerful, and it's like, okay, buddy. I'd love to see that actually happen. I'd love to see that be for real. And, you know, just this whole, like, yapping about, like, he's like, we're so great, and, you know, all of this, even though, you know, they're like mid, at least as far as we've seen, you know, we haven't seen any real power showing. We just know that they control a lot of the industry in hell. We know that they control the tech industry, and they control the adult film industry, and they control the fashion industry, but it's like, okay, you have company. All right, good for you, man. So I'm excited to see them for realsies. I feel like I'm talking a lot about nothing. That it's really hard for me to make videos like this, which is why I have never done it before. I don't think I've done this before. I could be wrong because I have a terrible memory, but it's hard. Not it's hard for me to talk. I'm very good at talking forever. I just feel like I'm not saying anything meaningful. Anyway, episode 1 ends with Emily showing up in hell for a brief moment, telling Charlie, A, Penchas has been redeemed, B, heaven is going on lockdown, C, she'll be back to talk more later, and then promptly disappearing. It's like, oh, okay. Hi, Emily. And the episode ends with just, like, Charlie screaming. And it's like, honestly, girl, me too, low-key. Actually, I don't know if that's where the episode ends. I don't remember if that was, like, the very last thing. Or, I think it was. I might be tweaking, but I think it was. And there's a couple of really, really beautiful moments in that episode with Charlie and Lucifer, where we just see more of them as father and daughter, and I think it's really beautiful. And there's something so special about that, because it's nice to see a good father figure in media. Not to say that there's not plenty, I'm sure there is, but it's always nice to see it. You love to see it. Good stuff. Also, I think that I was gushing over a lot of the frames because I felt like they were just so cute and, like, nice to look at. And obviously, you know, because it's polished animation, it's gonna look nice. But a lot of this to me was like eye candy, and not in the sense that, like, oh, it just looks good and there's nothing here. For my hyperactive mind, where, like, I'm trying to look at everything and see all of the little details, I felt like there was something in there for me, you know? On every frame there was something that I could be looking at, and it was good stuff. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Then we go into episode 2. Episode 2 takes place in heaven. Yeah. Anyway, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen them, so I don't know why I'm, like, whatever. Anyway, episode 2 takes place in heaven, and it starts with Pentious being all like locked up with this big, I'm trying to think of a word, assembly, there we go, of angels, of higher ranking angels, who are like, yo, what the flip? What is happening, bro? And they're all like, how did he get here? Which I mean, like, fair, I guess, because I too would be very confused. I mean, he just like showed up, you know? We meet Abel for the first time. Very exciting. Very exciting. He's so silly. I love him. We see a lot more of Sarah and Emily in this episode. We see a lot of Sarah's guilt with the exterminations, because, you know, it was, I'm not gonna say she feels like it was her fault, because from what we have seen, it is her fault. You know, she's the one who authorized it. But we see a lot of her guilt of dealing with that, and like trying to come to terms with, because in the beginning of the episode, she's very aggressive toward Pentious. How did you sneak your way in here? This, you know, obviously you can't get redeemed. And it's a defense mechanism because she doesn't want to admit she was wrong. You know, because at the end of the day, her decision to have the exterminations happen killed countless people, and they could have been redeemed. And she doesn't want to accept that reality. Not yet. And yeah, it's just really fascinating watching. I like watching characters process things in real time, which I know I said, but just watching them be like, oh, I fucked up, you know, and like now I need to move on from that. It's, that was me blowing up my brain. Mind blown. I don't know. Oh my god. This is why I don't do videos like this, you guys. Anyway, you know, everybody's like yelling and being pissy at each other, and especially Lute, because she's very angry because she was in love with Adam. It was confirmed in the episode. She's like wearing his halo as a bracelet. You guys have probably seen it. And then the speaker of God shows up. Yeah. I might, maybe, put a picture on screen, maybe, if I can find one. Guys, can I be so for real? I'm gonna be so lazy editing this episode. Anyway, episode. What? Okay. We're gonna ignore my weirdness. Please, bear with me. Speaker of God shows up and is like, I'm gonna settle this. She's like super cool. And she leans down to Pentious. She says, why don't you tell me your story? The only person to really sit down and wait and ask him. Everything else was an accusatory line of questioning. She sat down and she asked him. And so we learn the story, well, part of the story of Pentious's life and why he ended up in hell, which we learn, I mean, wasn't that bad of a reason at all. He was a bystander. He witnessed a murder and he didn't say anything, you know? And yes, he could have done something. Yes, he could have saved what would go on to be the other victims of that man. But to end up in hell over it is kind of crazy. Anyway. And you know, he recounts that, and then he talks very, very briefly about the battle, because obviously he's still fucking traumatized. And she's like, oh, so it's because you acted selfless. You cared more about the lives of others than you did your own. And then Lute just comes in, she's like, well, so he gets redeemed because he murdered somebody? And like this whole time, she's all like, he killed Adam, and can we... I know she's grieving too, right? Like, I understand that she is hurting. But saying that Pentious killed Adam is the funniest fucking thing, because he literally wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. It's... It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, the whole time she's trying to be like, we need to go down there and kill all the demons. And the speaker's like, hey, nuh-uh. Chill. And Lute's on this power trip that because she was the lieutenant, she's now like the leader of the army. And she says that in front of the speaker and Sarah, and the speaker goes, what? And Sarah's like, oh, how do I tell you this? And then Abel's like, yeah, actually, I'm the leader of the army now because that was my dad. She freaks the fuck out. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like this whole, oh my god. She gets really fucking mad. Which, I mean, like, I get it, right? I would be kind of pissed too. Oh my god. I liked episode 2. I think I liked episode 2 a lot more than I liked episode 1. Not to say I didn't like episode 1, because I did, but I liked episode 2 more. 'Twas quite enjoyable. And then we see Penchas trying to, like, what's the word? Acclimate to heaven, you know? And Emily's, like, showing him around. She's trying so hard, you know? She's trying to show him everything. Be like, look at all these cool things. You're in heaven now. And he's like, when can I go home to see my friends? And she's like, you can't. And he ends up really depressed because of it. So she makes him new egg boys that are, like, not even remotely the same. They're kind of like if you... The egg boys already are kind of lobotomized now. If you, like, double lobotomized the egg boys. And which helped a little bit, but... You know, obviously he's struggling. Because it's like, he has to come to terms with the fact that, as far as he knows, he can never see them again. And that's like, ouch. And so we get, I'm trying to remember all the songs in this, because I know we get a Sarah song, and it's fire. I like it a lot. It's about, like I mentioned earlier, about her guilt and how she's struggling, and it's like, oof. And it's kind of heavy. It's her trying to figure out what to do. Because all of this responsibility is falling on her shoulders. And she needs to be the one to know what to do. And she's trying to go to the speaker for guidance, and the speaker's like, nah, babe, it's gotta come from you. And it's beautiful and it's sad. And we get Lute's song, Gravity. Because she's fucking crazy and is seeing hallucinations of Adam. And she knows it's not real. Like, they acknowledge it pretty much immediately. She goes, you're alive? And he goes, no, I'm in your head, you dumb bitch. So she knows it's not really Adam. But she plays into the delusion anyway. She goes on this, like, rampage in Adam's old office and destroys all his shit. You know, singing about how she's gonna bring genocide upon the demons. And honestly, my favorite song out of all of the ones in the episodes so far in season 2. Peak. I love it. God, it's so fire, dude. It's really interesting because we see this dichotomy of grief between Lute and Charlie, where Charlie is kind of displacing everything and trying to ignore it because she doesn't have time for grief. You know, she has a hotel to run. In the end, Baggy agrees to, like, she's like, hey, let me deal with the hotel stuff. You figure out your feelings and whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, Charlie is still pushing those feelings away because she doesn't know what to do with them. You know, she's not ready. She's not there yet. And that's because grief is really fucking hard. And grief is a damn process. And then, in the next episode, we see Lute. And it's a completely different part of the spectrum of grief. Which, I mean, you've heard of the 5 stages of grief. Anger, case in point, right? And it's wild because it seems when you look around heaven, it feels like, to Lute, that she is the only one mourning Adam. And I mean, that only makes it worse for her, right? She's like, no one fucking cares about this. And this is important to me. And that always sucks. When you have big feelings about something and nobody else fucking cares. So, not that I'm saying... I don't want people thinking that I'm saying that what she's doing is justified. Because it is not. Killing all demons, right? That's her mission now. She wants to kill all the demons because one of them stabbed the guy she was in love with after they killed thousands of demons, maybe even millions. I need you to think about that. I need you to think about that, okay? Because in context, it sounds fucking ridiculous, right? We mass genocided a people, and then they fought back, and they killed my guy who I wished would be my boyfriend. So now I have to kill all of them. Like, from a psychology standpoint, I understand where she's coming from, but girl, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, it was a cool episode. I liked it a lot. And we see, at the end of the episode, we see the whole, like, heaven lockdown starting to happen. So we know that episode 1 and episode 2 are running essentially in tandem. So they happen at the same time, which is cool. I like having a clear timeline like that. That's good stuff. I love having a clear timeline. As a FNAF fan, we don't get a lot of those. Oh my god. And I'm really hyped for the next 2 episodes, which come out on November 5th. See, it says, it's funny because if you look at Amazon, there's 2 separate things. It says November 4th, 2025, and then on the bottom it says available on Wednesday, November 5th at 12 a.m. So, I'm hyped as fuck though. I'm really excited. It's really annoying because, like, Wednesdays are my busy days. So, of course it has to come out on Wednesdays, right? I digress. I'm really hyped. I'm really excited to see more of this. I'm excited to see where the story goes. I'm bummed that it's only 8 episodes, but we'll see where it goes. I feel like a lot of Hazbin's troubles come from pacing. And I am more than willing to acknowledge that. I do not think that this is a flawless series. Because if you look at it, it feels like everything happens so quickly, especially when you're working with something that only gets 8 episodes a season, you know? And if we have episode 1 and 2 being at the same time, what is the rest of it gonna be like? You know? It's kind of like, so if we look at season 1, for example, if it would load, we have all of these episodes, and by all of them I mean 8, but all of them are happening at a different point in the timeline. You know, it's a linear step down, and we have those 8 episodes that, however many, hold on, 50 minutes, and then like another 50 minutes, and then like another 50 minutes, you know, however many hours of content of this linear story. But if we go to season 2, and we have the first 2 episodes running in tandem, we have, whoa, these are actually longer. These have been 28 minutes. That's kind of sick. Okay. If we look at this, you know, and we have episodes 1 and 2 running in tandem, it's like we only get 7 episodes of the actual story, if that makes sense, you know, where we see what's going on in hell. I think with the rest of the episodes, it's going to be part hell, part heaven. Maybe. Who knows? Not me. So I feel like a big criticism of season 2 is going to be pacing again. And I understand that they're doing what they can with what they have, and I can respect that. You know? Animation is fucking hard, and I can't do it. So who am I to judge? But it's hard to tell a story when you're being rushed like this. So I am beyond curious as to where this is gonna go. I have been yapping for long enough. I'm gonna get out of here. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Maybe if I get it recorded on the day that I'm supposed to. So, until then, I will see all of you next time. Okay? Bye, everybody.